Modern business growth leads to attack surface growth, and that in turn increases cyber risks that can lead directly to cyber attacks and breaches. And while adversaries use automated tools to discover and exploit those gaps, defenders use multiple siloed tools, manual processes, and lots of staff time to gain only an incomplete and periodic view. Consequently, ESG believes that the requirement to improve cyber risk management will lead enterprise organizations to adopt new external attack surface management technologies over the next 12 to 18 months. With that backdrop, whether you call it external risk management or security hygiene and posture management, the processes and tools for proactively finding and fixing security gaps before attackers can exploit them is a vital foundational element of a comprehensive enterprise security program. It's critical to fully understand detailed intelligence about every asset, things like their location, who owns them, how they're configured, whether they're connected to business-critical systems, and whether they're vulnerable to a cyber attack. Now, just because security hygiene and posture management are a fundamental requirement doesn't mean that these things are easy. Take External Attack Surface Management, or EASM, for example. An organization's external attack surface is composed of all internet-facing exposed assets, including servers, web applications, open ports, identities, SSL certificates, and more. According to recent ESG research, 2/3 of organizations say that their attack surface has grown over the past 2 years, driven by things like growth in third-party IT connections, support for remote end users and the various devices they use, increasing use of the public cloud, and the adoption of more SaaS applications. It's important to note that the attack surface is also extremely dynamic. Organizations are acquired, business units are sold, crowd resources spin up and down, business managers embrace SaaS applications they believe will enhance the business mission, and users connect from various locations. For CISOs and business executives, attack surface growth should be a focus, as it increases cyber risk and can lead directly to cyber attacks. Unfortunately, this is often exactly what happens. 69% of security professionals claim that their organization has experienced a cyber attack emanating from an unknown, unmanaged, or mismanaged internet-facing asset. Given these risks, you would think that external risk management processes would run as smoothly as a fine Swiss clock. Alarmingly, the opposite is often true. Recent ESG research uncovered a multitude of issues with current external attack surface management programs. Attack surface management is time-consuming, resource-intensive, and inefficient, with 70% of organizations using more than 10 security tools for attack surface management. And 7 of 10 must use spreadsheets and manual processes to cobble everything together. And discovery is only the first step. Organizations must still test assets to figure out which are most vulnerable, so they can prioritize the right risk mitigation actions. Furthermore, risk assessment is done through the analysis of different data sources like vulnerability scanners, threat intelligence feeds, CMDBs, and open source intelligence tools. This is an arduous process. Haphazard ASM workflows lead inevitably to security hygiene and posture management uncertainty. 61% of security pros say that while they understand the importance of security hygiene and posture management, they still struggle to prioritize the right remediation actions. While 57% agree that their organization struggles to know which assets are business critical. It's worth thinking about the state of ASM considering the ESG data. While adversaries use automated tools to discover internet-exposed assets, defenders use multiple tools, manual processes, and lots of staff time to gain an incomplete and periodic view of their attack surface. Sounds like a mismatch to me. Okay, so what should an enterprise-class external attack surface management program look like? For starters, EASM depends upon accurate and thorough discovery of all corporate assets, including those of departments, subsidiaries, partners, and in cloud environments. And asset discovery should be continuous, since the attack surface changes all the time. Once discovered, assets should be mapped and classified to understand their business context. This can help teams understand potential attack paths, as a security gap may be a few hops away from mission-critical data. Leading EASM systems will graph these relationships, identify risks, and calculate risk scores that can help organizations prioritize remediation actions on vulnerable assets in the attack path, such as those that could be exploited as part of a ransomware attack or data breach. Examining risks, risk prioritization, and attack paths help SOC teams answer basic security questions like, could an adversary exploit this asset? If they did, could they move laterally through the network? Would my security defenses prevent or detect this exploit? And where are the gaps in my security data sources and controls? By aligning EASM and continuous testing, organizations can build lifecycle cradle-to-grave processes to identify vulnerable assets and data exposures, mitigate cyber risks, and validate the effectiveness of remediation actions. Given the growing attack surface and the absolute requirement to improve cyber risk management, ESG believes enterprise organizations will adopt new types of EASM technologies over the next 12 to 18 months. But EASM is a new and emerging market segment that can be confusing. When evaluating EASM technology options, ESG recommends that organizations look for solutions featuring comprehensive and continuous asset discovery, all organizations, all asset details, all the time. Asset classification, understanding business context, network connections, ownership, and so on. Continuous testing to better understand adversary behavior and validate security controls and processes in the face of vulnerable attack surface assets. Risk scoring based on business context, threat intelligence about adversary exploits, and machine learning algorithms. Remediation recommendations prioritizing vulnerable assets that pose the biggest business risk. The good news is that there is tremendous innovation happening in attack surface management today, so this is a great time to reevaluate risk management solutions.